morning, scrappers, scrapettes, recyclers, planet lovers, and everybody else in between. Your old buddy, Scrappy D here. Welcome to D Scraps, E Scraps. Da 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 da. D Scraps, E Scraps. D Scraps, E Scraps. Couldn't resist. I have people staring at my handle like, D Scrapes? D Scraps, E Scraps. I watched Sharky trying to figure it out one day. It was really funny. So, today, welcome to another episode of What's in the Box. Once again, the you-know-where store has sold out of eScrap. I've been trying to put it on my profile page whenever I list something. It'll give you the information to the store and let you see exactly what's in there. So I'm working on an idea. Quick, everybody run for the hills. Scrappy D's working on an idea. And my idea is coming up in another video. Today I had a couple of orders to get out, and that's what I've got to get done today. This, and I know you've seen me do these before, but again, I've got 2 or 3 orders that I have to process today, so process them we shall, huh? What I'm thinking about doing is, well, for those of you who don't know, what I do is my lives, I keep them at around an hour if I'm doing something instructional or something people might want to rewatch. I can load the entire live to YouTube. It lets me, but TikTok, if your live goes over an hour, they won't let you post it. So it's like if people don't catch your live, they don't get to see what it is you're doing. And, I only have so much time I can do this. I love doing it, man. I'd stay on live all day if I could, but your voice gets tired. You get tired after a fashion. I think an hour is a good live. And it lets me kind of stay on one specific topic, which is something else I really prefer to do. Roger, good morning. And I will apologize right up front if I don't see your name go by. I don't have moderators yet. We're going to start the day off by not finding what it is I need. Give me 1 second, guys. I got to go get the other tray of tools. Be back in a minute. Hi, Dave Donahue. Did you happen to catch your box yesterday on the replay? I hope it's okay. All right. So this is an IBM Blade module from 1994. Something I've been focusing on lately is trying to find alternative sources of eScrap. Everybody wants RAM, and there's only so much out there. So, I always try to look for it. That was actually why I bought these, and I bought a whole pallet of them last summer. I think there were like 80 of them. They were a really, really good score for the shop. They were a great score. We did really well with those. the reason I bought them, number one, I got a good deal. One of my IT people had a pallet of them. He says, I've been sitting on these springs for years. I said, well, make it so I can make a profit on it. I'll buy them from you. Which we went back and forth, and I did buy them. But I bought them for a couple of reasons. Number one, I needed content for the channel. You gotta always have something to scrap. You don't have a channel, right? Thank you, Randomness. That was kind of you. I appreciate that. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. It really does help the algorithm and helps the channel. If you're like vintage computers or computer recycling, I can tell you now why this one hadn't gotten scrapped. I can't get that one apart. You know, that's what I do here. And just to be transparent, I always, if I get an old vintage computer, I always look it over to see if it might be salvageable to somebody else. Ha! I won. Maybe somebody else can use it. You know, like a lot of the old vintage Macs, people are always looking for parts. If it's been stored inside, I'm not as reluctant to sell it. But what I'll do is I'll sell it as scrap. And I'll put a big disclaimer on it. Sold as scrap, may or may not work. By the way, printers have gold. Printer cartridges have good gold in them. I don't know why that got in. That was just sitting on here. I got to take that to Staples to be recycled tomorrow. So anyway, we did get a pallet of these. Mama D, good morning and thank you. Was it okay, Dave? I added a couple of more to top off the box, of course. One of my resale programs here on the channel is to buy e-scrap by the box. Temporarily, I'm set up with purchases through another store, and I can't say it on here because otherwise they restrict my life. But you'll see it on the profile page. What I'm working on, I gotta get a flathead screwdriver, excuse me guys for 2 seconds. I cleaned the table last night, now I don't know where anything is. Oh, come on. Yeah, I made a big dent in the mess yesterday, which is awesome. Been really trying to get the mess cleaned up from the construction, and I finally feel like the end is in sight. So what I think I might do, and this comes from having sold so much stuff to some of my subscribers, I think we're going to do like a low, medium, and high grade box, all of which will have things for gold recovery. I'll like list a table of contents or something. But I think what might be fun is assembling your box right here on YouTube. If you like the box, you can hit yes in the comments. I'll send you an invoice. If you're not content with it, just leave it and I'll either add something to it or dump it out and try again. And I thought it might be a really good idea. Something to try. I did really well with the boxes. The other thing I usually do is I try to keep all of the same things in the same box. Like Dave's order was all phone cards, phone circuit boards. Thomas's order was the same thing, all circuit boards. And, you know, I try to do it that way. That way you've only got one setup and one set of tools and this, that, and the other thing. I think it's a lot easier for you. Thank you, Pharmacia. Sister, good morning to you as well. Robert, good morning. Let's go by faster than I can read them. So, you know, there's that. The other thing, too, is... so, anyway, let me strike that, rewind. Let me go back to the vintage computers for a second. Things that are pre-2020 tend to have a lot more gold-bearing material. I'm pre-2020. I ought to be loaded with gold. Ha ha ha. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Only gold I have is my chain. That was my mom's. I bought her that when I went to Italy. Wow. So, I took apart the 2 pallets of old computers. The one that I got at that warehouse, that was just the most unbelievable find of vintage computers I think I've ever come across or ever seen. You've heard me talking a lot about the MIPS computers. MIPS was the first company to break away from the wall-mounted, huge, enormous mainframes. And that would have been maybe very early 80s, late 70s and through there. I mean, I remember I was doing my bachelor's in the early 80s, and I remember working with a machine called a Tascam. And even then, it was huge. It was a 4-track, which was advanced technology back in those days, machine. So I haven't got the time frame 100% down, but I have the progression down. So MIPS came up with these boards. If you go onto Google search and you actually type in MIPS, MIPS computers, you're going to find, especially their board is called the Revision. Revisions, they mark them that way because as they revise the board, Revision 5 might not talk to Revision 1. So they have to put that on there. Well, thank you. I think I'm pretty cool too. I try. I have a lot of fun, and I really very grateful for the feedback comments we've been getting. People enjoy our content and they enjoy the interaction. That's why we go live. But these vintage computers, these MIPS. So if you get a MIPS in your pile, do not scrap it. And actually, it was somebody here on our channel, because I said, I put up this, the hell is this thing? I have no idea. I have never seen anything like this. And why is there so much? Thank God I had put a reserve on it when I listed it, where. Because there were no less than 500 watches on it in 24 hours. That right there told me I had something special. I took it down, and there was really no information to be found. And that means one of two things. Either A, it's a POS, or B, it's extremely rare. And in this case, it turned out to be extremely rare. What I did is I took a picture of it on one of my lives, and I put it up there. I said, does anybody know anything about this? I have never seen one. I can't find any information. Hang on, Elf 1111. Hang on a second, I'll answer that in a minute. He wants to know what I'm working on. He or she. So the MIPS board, that's what I was talking about. So I put the picture of the board up here. I didn't take it out of the computer. I just took the top stuff off, and I put a couple of pictures on it, and I got pictures of the revisions, and it did say jazz board on it, or some such thing when I went back and looked the second time. They had some funky names for them. Rainbow, jazz, etc., etc. But I digress. I'm loud. I haven't finished me tea yet. So one of my subscribers wrote back and they said, "Hey Dee, don't scrap that. Whatever you do, that is a very significant historic significance." So he said, "Don't scrap history." So with that knowledge, he told me what it was. He said, "That's a jazz development board, and they're incredibly rare." So it was one of the first boards and one of the first processing units to start the push into the personal computer as we know it today. MIPS couldn't keep up. They were in California, Silicon Valley, you know, and they couldn't get out of their own way. They couldn't adapt. Their boards are all one piece with a lot of ceramic chips on them, pin CPUs, but really nothing for RAM or slot processors. Those came a little bit later, and that's where Intel excelled. Not Intel, IBM just absolutely blew them out of the water with the faster computers and so on and so forth. This is it in a nutshell, by the way. So, but those MIPS computers, they were the first. Now they go for, when I tell you Boku bucks. And I believe Sun bought them. I know Compaq eventually bought the MIPS design, and of course Compaq ran into similar problems with not being able to update fast enough to keep up with all the revisions IBM was making. So that started the computer wars in the early 1980s, and of course, you know, it's just been the same ever since. Faster graphic chips, this, that, and the other thing, NVIDIA chips, more RAM, better slot cards, faster. Now people don't even replace their gaming cards. They throw out the whole damn computer and build another one. So, Sheep of the Shepherd, good morning. Wrench Turner. That's a cute handle. Cornelius used to have a Cray 1 memory board. Wow. I've actually started collecting them. The other company that was very involved with all this was, which brought me to my next thing, and they did keep the MIPS design, was DEC, Digital Electronic Corporation. If you find the MIPS boards, you're going to find Toshiba parts, and you're going to find that a lot of it was made in Japan. I just sold, as a matter of fact, I sold the set of CPUs that came out of the MIPS computer. I'm going to show it to you because I have it here, and I won't have it in 2 days. So this is the CPU that came out of the MIPS computer. It says Toshiba on it, and it was one of the biggest CPUs I ever saw. I pulled that off the Magnum, either the Magnum 2000 or Magnum 3000. Those are your jazz development boards that are worth a lot of money. I couldn't pull the name up before. And so it had 2 slot processors. Now IBM did that shortly, or rather Intel did that shortly after. It was called an overdrive. And, it boosted up the performance of the motherboard. So I took those off that computer, and I've been holding them. I was going to keep them as part of my collection, but then I actually emailed the guy who bought them from me, bought the MIPS computer, and when I tell you I got Boku bucks for those, I got Boku bucks. It was a gift from God above, let me tell you. Gave me enough money to pay for my bathroom. That's how well I did on those. And I'm not saying that to brag. Hello, Fat Kid the Boss. Good morning to you. I enjoyed your video very much the other day. You and I are of a very similar mindset. I'm a Christian woman too, and I'm always trying to help people, and and I get the feeling you do that too. I do enjoy your channels, guys. I do go back and look. Mark, thank you. So, this whole MIPS movement, for lack of something else to call it, was really quite a story, and the boards have become almost impossible to get. If you go researching vintage computers, you're going to find, of course, first and foremost, the MIPS computers are almost MIPS called MIPS, and these computers actually said MIPS on the front. They were labeled MIPS, and inside of them was Magnum 2000 and 3000. Those are the holy grail. And those are the boards that, when I auctioned them, I couldn't believe what they went for. It was just it was an unbelievable find, you know, one of those once-in-a-lifetime stories. I tried to take a lot of pictures. I think I should do some kind of an educational video about that. I didn't, you know, when I went researching, I didn't find a whole bunch. And if one of my subscribers had said, "Oh, you're welcome. I felt so bad, boss. I really did. I felt so bad. Boss bought a package from me, and I have no idea what happened. Something got mixed up. Well, I do know what happened. The UPS store sent it to the wrong. They mixed up my labels, and his package got misplaced. And I felt really bad because they were vintage boards. So, being the kind of person I am, I refunded him and sent him a promo package. That's just the way I am, guys. Don't ever be afraid to buy from me, because I'm never going to rip you off. You can ask any of my subscribers, and you can look at my You Know What store and see my 100% feedback. I take care of people. I run my own business. Not only doing this, but I have the rental business. Thanks for all the gifts, guys. Somebody said I have to look how to reset my life goals. You know, there's just a lot of stuff I don't know how to do. I'm 66 years old. I have no idea how to do half of that stuff. Yeah, no, but I felt really bad. You know, somebody wanted something specific I had. It got misplaced somewhere by somebody, probably me. I probably gave them the wrong label, who knows. And I was so upset. That just doesn't happen. I mean, I triple mark everything. I catalog it. I mark it. I put the date that the TikTok video went up. I mean, I do all those things. So for me to make a mistake like that, I don't know. I don't know who I was madder at, the store or me. Probably myself. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I try. Yeah, no, I enjoyed your video very much the other day, boss. I really did. Very much. I just felt really bad. So, you know, if you're nervous about buying stuff from me, that's okay, because there's a lot of you-know-what artists out there, and I'm not one of those, I can tell you that right now. I'm going to have to answer to two people when I hit Peter's Gate. The first is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and the second is going to be my mama. So, seriously. Yeah. I pride myself on being my mother's daughter. She was very generous, very kind, just a wonderful human being. And it's funny, even now we're coming on 2 years since she's passed, people still say, you know, her smile, her energy, her goodness. What a tribute to have people say that about you after you pass, that you were a good, kind, generous person. I mean, really, I'm honored to be her daughter. Very much so. So, she raised me to do right. So did my dad. Now anyway, I digress. Back to MIPS computers. So there was this interplay, and I haven't got the timeline done right, because it's just something I've just started reading about and enjoying the past couple of weeks. When I get the timeline done and I get it, I'll do some kind of presentation, because I think people would be interested in it. So MIPS sold out to Sun Valley? Silicon Graphics. I knew I'd come up with it. Silicon Graphics. I just had to pause a second. And if you go pricing vintage computers, thank you. Thanks, Beckett the Boss. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I am. And I know. Yeah, like I said, I know I'm going to have to answer to God someday, so while I'm here, I want to try to do my best to do right by people. Hopefully it won't be for a good long time. I'm just starting to enjoy being what I call 75% retired. Now I have time to do things, chance to do things like do a little research on these vintage computers. So I found another whole niche, is what I guess I'm trying to get to. So Silicon Valley took over from MIPS. Compaq bought a design from MIPS. If you take an old Compaq board and hold it side by side to one of the MIPS boards, you'll see the similarities in the design. So they had a good thing going, but they couldn't keep it up. They all were in Silicon Valley, California. As a matter of fact, where I ship most of these MIPS boards, quite a few of the people were engineers working on those projects. And it's been really just fascinating having them share some of their stories, and I've got it all written down too. I've got a lot of it written down. I've written one book. I might just write another. And it's really become not a passion, but a definite interesting curiosity, about vintage computers. So Silicon Valley and Silicon Graphics, those computers have gone, any of their vintage stuff, through the roof. Through the roof. The only prayer really of finding any, or if I find some on a pallet somewhere, I have never come across a Silicon Valley computer. I'm actually looking, they've got one. It looks like a gas tank, an old red gas tank. Yeah, I'd love to get my hands on one of those, but another thousands of dollars, so I'm not going to spend that. Not when I got my kitchen to get done. But if I came across one, yeah, sure, I'd buy it as a curiosity. There are people out there, and I love... and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I've kept, this goes back to what I started to say at the beginning of the video, always first and foremost, if the computer is salvageable, especially vintage ones, and it looks like it might work, I'll sell the computer. Just, enough to make myself a few bucks. It saves me taking it apart. It saves me having to dispose of the steel, and possibly provides parts for somebody who actually could fix it or is looking to fix one of theirs. But I always put very clearly, this is being sold as e-scrap. I don't know if it works. I don't know what was done to that computer. So I present it that way to them. And I have had 3 or 4 that have sold. So it was kind of cool. So just in case, I think I showed you, these are the MIPS chips, no pun intended. This came out of the Magnum, and then it had this. So you'll see 2 CPUs on those, which IBM did. I think they did a 286 chip that looked like this, wasn't quite as big. And then they had something called an overdrive chip that looked like this. So you had 2 CPUs. It updated the speed of the boards. So that was that. And you'll still see a lot of those gold-rich dual CPU boards from the early 90s. I see them in Compaqs. I see them in old HPs. I see them in... I know I ramble. I don't mean to. You get talking about something, and that's why lives are really hard. It's easy to get off topic. I have so much information to share. Yeah, I'll answer that in a second, boss. Just remind me, okay? Are you... Oh, don't do that to me. When I think my monitor phone might kick off, and that's okay. So it's been a very interesting story, and I'm just going to add one more part before I go back to what I'm supposed to be doing. So, enter Digital Electronic Corporation, DEC. They have the MIPS designed boards in them, and those have gone astronomical, out of control, price-wise. I was very lucky. As a matter of fact, he is in Texas. I ran across a guy who just was a wealth of information, and he loved to share, too. We had some great conversations back and forth. He was a wonderful seller. I got a very good deal, even with shipping. He sent me some coupons, so it really almost took the shipping cost away, and he packaged and wrapped them very well. So I have 5 Digital Electronic Corp's computers sitting down in my basement. I'm going to hang on to them probably till after the holiday. I have 1 up for sale, and I'm just going to resell them. It's going to be hit or miss whether they work or not. I already know the rubber feet in the cabinet tend to melt because of heat. I took one apart, and I've already cleaned that one. That one I just sold. But the other 4, I think I'm going to wait till after the holidays. Beastly heavy. Oh, my God. I want to do a little more research on some of those, and I'll put a presentation together. I'll work on that over the holidays. All right, so in front of me, for those of you who joined in and didn't hear my intro, last summer I got a pallet full of these, and the reason I'm doing these this morning is because my friend Kevin D ordered these from me last night, and I thought it might be fun to show you his box. A lot of times you'll see me play a little game called What's in the Box. I don't have a lot of material for new boxes today. I sold out. My Beep Beep store sold out again. Currently, I'm just using Beep Beep. It's on my profile page to resell the material. If you are looking to sell boards, sellyourboards.com right here on TikTok. He's also on YouTube. Really, really outstanding company. Very impressed. It's nice to have another place to sell my boards. I've got 3 or 4 places that I go to. A lot of times, if I get enough non-ferrous, I'll make the trip up to Rockaway Scrapyard in New Jersey. It is an hour-and-a-half drive, but he pays very well. I have a local scrapyard. They suck. They're terrible. I mean, but I could save on gas, I guess, you know. And it's convenient. Right now, scrap metal is so cheap. I've just been putting it on the curb and letting the... There's 2 or 3 old guys who live in our neighborhood, and there is a local scrapyard that I don't deal with. And I see them. Their trucks are falling apart. They're all bent over. They've got arthritis. The poor guys can just about move. And they're out there scrapping. So I have 2 or 3 of them who I call, and I just put the computer cases up on the curb. They take too much space, you know, in the pickup truck. And I'm getting Big Grid back next week. I don't want it all scratched up again from that type of material. And, you know, I've been doing it that way. I have a storage bin literally around the corner. And I am... Good morning from New Jersey. Oh, Tom's Garage, is that who you're talking about, boss? He's awesome, isn't he? Tom's Garage, he's got a lot of really, really great... I found him when I was looking for vintage computers, too. Yeah, I'm enjoying myself with a lot of these. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, okay? Because it really, really helps the channel a bunch. So DEC computers I talked about. So moving into the early 90s, and the reason I'm telling you this, because if you come across these things, don't just scrap them, even though the vintage boards are ooh la 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 tempting. Don't scrap them. If you can help it. If you can sell them, sell them. I think I already put them down in the basement. I've got myself a lovely collection of vintage boards. I'll share those with you in another video. I've got about a half an hour here before my hour is up. Hi, Sparky. How are you? So, you know, you had an IBM going at it. This is almost as big as the MIPS chip. And this is a collector's item. See, I won't sell that for gold recovery. I sell that as a collector's item per se. Right now it's in my collection. I only have one of these. But the IBM DSX series, 286, 386, 486, those are pretty common, but there's good gold in there for gold recovery. And there's so many of them out there. Doesn't matter, go ahead and scrap them. But something like that, you know, that's a novelty item for a specific computer. And I made the decision to try to resell it for parts because of that. Someone out there, and it sold pretty quickly. And I sold it to the guy who bought two of the computer boards. He was very glad to have it. So, you know, it saves you a lot of work. It saves you clutter. And, it helps somebody out. These parts are... I was reading... I guess on one of my vintage computer. Oh, what did I do now? It restricted me, and I have no idea why. I didn't even say anything. They love to restrict my life. I don't understand what it is that I do or said. I don't care. I didn't say anything wrong. I don't understand it. Shh. Anyway. So, where was I? Vintage computers and older things to scrap. That's where I was heading with all of this. So the older the better. I've been saving, like, I'm one of the vintage forums, and I don't really understand what... I guess so. Other people say it, they don't get in trouble. I did say EB, that was the mistake. No saying EB on TT. Yeah. I think that's a little excessive. but it's okay. I actually prefer YT to TikTok because they let you post a longer video, but I prefer YT's live format. Very easy to interact with people. I haven't figured out YT's yet because I see Scrapping Irish and Shark Scrapper, and I watch their videos on Sunday afternoons. I have a terrible time with the comment section. I don't know, it's probably something I'm doing. But anyway, it is what it is. Onward. So yeah, so DEC computers, and then of course you had your Macintoshes, your Apple, your Compaq, your HP, and progressed through the 90s. The boards, up until maybe early 2000, were of pretty good quality. As gold got more expensive and copper got more expensive, I didn't know that. It's the control something. It's the control obey. I don't obey. I never obey anything. Disobedient little brat. I just got to be careful. Stupid. No freedom of speech on TikTok. You know what? They'll restrict somebody like me who mentioned something else, but they'll let these people get up and talk, swear 10 miles an hour. Swear like there's no tomorrow. Put up violent videos, but they bitch at me because I said eBay. Stupid. Yeah, they did. I got restricted on my live, limited visibility. I don't give a crap. I don't care. I'm almost done anyway for the day. So this is an IBM Blade module. Again, vintage, old. In this case, there really wasn't any resale. I tried selling the whole board because the whole board had this. It had this. It had this. This is why I bought them. That's $6, 3 pounds of, when I knocked that out, Bear Bright copper. So right now, what's $5 a pound? It's $15. I've already made $5 in profit. Haven't even started yet. I sold a lot of these too. Dennis S. bought a lot of these from us as well. And this, I will take this off. I'll sell this as a peripheral gray card. It doesn't quite warrant Goldfinger card in my opinion. So a high-grade peripheral card will have a lot of chips, some visible gold. This is just not good enough. This, when I take the copper heat sink off, yeah, that's a Goldfinger card, clearly. You see the difference. So high-grade peripheral board and Goldfinger card. I will take the copper off. That is a piece of Bear Bright copper. I sold box loads of these. It was great. One less thing I had to process. And there's just really fiddly little screws. I'll take that off. This will come off. I'll have nice clean aluminum. So there was a lot of good stuff in these. The first thing I did was take off the heatsink. The second thing I did, well, maybe I reversed them. These were chock full of RAM. And these gave me my jump start into the e-scrap market. So under here, and I showed you these the other day, are gorgeous gold pins. These are the 4 that are going out today. And this is what it'll look like when I'm done. I didn't take these gold pins off because my market really is you guys who do gold recovery. I found a nice niche market, so I'm not going to take anything off of there that's going to hurt you. This is all pinned. Beautiful CPU. By the way, I saved a couple of these for my collection. I was so upset though because they graded them as pinless CPUs, even though they were 20 years old and amazing pinless CPUs, which right now are $10 a pound. But I'm going to include that. This box is going to Kevin D. So this is what he's going to be getting. He's going to get 4 of these. And these are the gold pins you'll find. Whenever you find a backplane board like this, if you see this, you've got gold pin connectors. See the gold here? That's where the CPU sits. And then there's gold, 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 gold. So the board itself is going to be good for a gold, you know, even a home gamer. And you'll get all these. I'm going to include the... I'm going to try to find the other 2 CPUs. I think I have them somewhere. I'm going to see if I can find those for him. I think I have them. So he's going to get 4 of these boards. Just like this. It was a $100 box. He's going to get 4 boards like this. And because he's a subscriber, he's going to get a bonus. Which I always do. Ask anybody who's bought boards for me. I do a bonus. These came out of Telecom Equipment. They were great as a high-grade Telecom board. But again, I know just enough about the home game, gold refining game, that I can provide good material. Got BGAs, got some gold flashing here. So as a bonus, he's going to get a pound of Telecom boards. So he's going to get 4 of these. I'll find the heat sinks. He's going to get those. And he's going to get a pound of this. I think that's a great board. A great lot. I'll take the metal off, of course. Good, I got 20 minutes left. Alright. Yeah, I try to use the hour because I like to reload this. This just punches out. I fight with the scrapyard every time I go. They usually give me number 2 because they say there's thermal paste here and therefore it's not Bear Bright. Which is why I try to avoid that scrapyard. Makes me upset. You know what? That's not the guy at the scale's fault. He's just doing his job. The problem is it's a big company. And actually, I will honestly say, a lot of times, because I bring in so much, if you bring in a good-sized load, and I don't remember whose video it was yesterday, they were talking about the amount of... Mike Does Stuff. Mike Does Stuff was talking about bringing in large loads of batteries. He said how he used to bring the small loads of batteries to AutoZone or O'Reilly's or some such thing. But he said he saves them up by the pallet, and if he gets over 100 pieces, the yard pays him a premium. So do talk to your yard, and that's what finally happened with me. I went and I talked to the guy. I said, look, I bring you stuff during the summer it was every day. I had tons of it. You know, now I'm a little bit more organized. I have a lot in storage. I want to make less trips to the scrapyard. But I was also just starting this business, so I was scrapping like a maniac. I didn't want the mess in the yard. So, but he was, my point is, because I brought in large amounts of materials, he said, well, I'll give you Bear Bright on these if you bring me 300 pounds. I said, I've got 500 pounds at home. He said, I'll give you another $2 a pound. I said, well, why can't you just do that anyway? It's not like I bring you in 2 or 3 pieces. I bring you in 50 to 60 pounds every time I come in. And finally, my point is they did work with me. You know, being a girl in this business is not... I don't even know how I got into it. I think I got into it because I really like vintage computers. I think that's really where it started. Hi, Fast Horse. How are you? Saw your video last night. You're live last night too. Caught a little bit of that. That's one thing I really like about this channel. We all support each other's lives. You go on anybody else's live who's on my channel, and you know you'll find them elsewhere, and it's really awesome. And you know it's really nice. We have a really nice community here. So for resale, I'm going to leave the gold pins. I'm going to leave the CPU. I'm going to keep the copper, because otherwise I make nothing on the thing. That's the point. Yeah, I'm not looking to make a killing. I'm just looking to cover my expenses. That's really all. I'll get the metal plate off the back. So yeah, he's going to get a nice... I think this board is worth certainly worth $100. These are Telecom boards. I'm hoping to get fitted into a large flat rate priority. If I can get it into the priority box, and I can go by weight as opposed to value, I do a little bit better. He's in Texas, so I have to go to I'll go to the store and see what the best shipping is going to be. So So Kevin's box is 4 of these and 5 of these, and I think that's a great box. These are telecom grade high. That's what they graded at. That's what I would buy them as, and that's what my buyer paid me for them on, and it was like $10 a pound last round because of the amount of gold in them. And again, I send him hundreds of pounds, a month. So if you're a serious seller, work with your buyer. I mean, I know I get a premium price, but I also know my boards are clean, there's no junk on them, and, I know what I'm doing. So when I send a box of high-grade telecom boards, like, if I sent this box, I would sell all the same things in that box. It makes it easier for them to sort. It makes it easier for them to weigh, and most buyers prefer that. I don't want to get into Gaylord boxes and forklifts and warehouse. That's a job for somebody else. Hey, Moyer, I didn't see you come in. Hi. So yeah, I think this is a great box. I think it's more than fairly priced. If I can get it into the priority box, it's $24 to ship it. If I can, it might be a little bit more, but I won't know that till tomorrow. There are 2 places, and this is to answer your question, Fat Kid the Boss. 2 places I can recommend, actually 3, if you don't have a local yard. One is Board Sort, very good. They're in Ohio, probably the biggest board buyer in the country. They certainly were first to the table, and whatever Board Sort is doing, that's what everybody else is going to do. They have really earned that right, and they're very honest. But it's, it just, I think it depends where do you hail from. What's gonna, crap, I got a strip screw. Where are you hailing from? That's going to make a big difference. Like E-Waste Mike, he lives right near Board Sort, so he just drives it right over there. Me, I got to ship it. So I wind up shipping 20-pound boxes, and but it's all sorted. And he has and you can write to him and say, what would you grade that? What would you grade this at? I want this. You want that. Let's come up with something together. I have had him upgrade me. I've only had him downgrade me once, and the following week he changed his mind and upgraded both loads. But they're professional. Not like this freaking scrapyard I got to deal with. There's 2 scrapyards. One is okay. They treat me decent, but they pay lousy, and the other one pays better. But I can't stand the guy. I can't stand the guy who's in the scale house. He's so rude that I've stopped going. I don't need that. I'd rather give it to the disabled old guy who's going to come in his pickup truck and take it away and really needs the money. I'd rather give it to him. I really would. I call him every time I have computer cases. They're not too heavy for him to handle, and he just goes right down the street to Joe Blow's scrapyard. The other place that I would support is SellYourBoards.com. He's in Arizona. He is crushing it on E-Waste. He does videos. He shows you how to make really good money from electronic scrap. He shows you how to take it apart. He shows you what he's buying. Very, very personable. I'm really looking forward to work with him. This is just a piece of stainless. Very much looking forward to working with him. I really am. And I like his, you're in Indiana. Fat Kid the Boss. Oh, I am setting up to do gold recovery. My question is, how do you get your materials? Facebook Marketplace is really good. You have got to make friends with local IT people. People who go in and decommission old equipment and need help taking it out. Some of them do. Some of them will take it back and recycle themselves. I've got one guy. I met him at the dump, of all places. I was dumping monitors for a client. And this guy came in with a pickup truck and a dump trailer full of computers. I said, hey, I said, you know, instead of dumping here and getting nothing, I said, if we put them in my car, I'll pay you for those. He says, no, let's just put them in your car. I'd rather give them to you. So I said, well, the thing with giving them to me is I am going to destroy the hard drives. I'm not going to put out people's personal information. So we connected. I helped them unload it. I do things like I told him. If you're at a job site, I have a pickup truck, I have a trailer. I'd be glad to come to your job site. I'd be glad to do a couple of loads to the dump for you. I'd be glad to come and help you remove some of it. Since you're giving it to me for free, I'd be glad to help you. They love that. Free labor? Oh, yeah, baby. You know, just make sure you sign as an independent contractor because they worry about insurance, and I don't blame them. I would do the same. Make friends with the schools. The problem is you have to have an R2 recycling license. I don't carry that, and they just have my word that I'm going to destroy it. Some places require that. I did a pickup from a hospital, and they said, well, we saw what you do, the computers on TikTok, so we're glad to have you take them. Just make sure you destroy the hard drive. Send us a certified letter that you destroyed it. I said, sure, no problem. And I did. So, you know, but a lot of the bigger recyclers have that. So when you send it up to a board sort, to a sellyourboard.com, whatever, they have that license. So basically, they're gonna destroy it for you or send it to somebody who will. They have to. I don't. It would take me 10 minutes and $1,500 to get that license. I don't know that I want to do this. This is a hobby for me. I don't know. I'd like to, but it's just, you know, it's so messy. Yeah, definitely. Find somebody who does IT. This guy who I've been working with, he takes phone systems out of hotels. The office phones, those Executone phones that I had a couple of weeks ago, I just sold the last of the boards out of those. They were phenomenal for gold recovery. The newer ones, not so much. The older ones, yeah, they were good. Yeah. Oh, you ain't kidding. When a hobby becomes a hassle is when it turns into a job. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, can I quote you on that? Or did you get that from somebody? When a hobby becomes a hassle, it turns into a job. I don't want to work anymore. I'm retired. Yeah. People hassle me. I just don't deal with them. All right. So that's the third board. Again, look at the back. Gold, gold, gold. Water stain. Gold, gold, gold. So, yeah, reselling this to... I love reselling this to people who build gold refining. I'll never do it. It's not for me. Yeah, I'm really afraid of it. You know, my nephew has 3 adorable little girls, and I'd like for them to be able to visit the house and not have to worry about toxic chemicals, this, that, and the other. This is the last of them, I think. I've also got, and I'll do maybe my next live. Rottweiler, love that. My next live, I think I'll do the Dells. I have Dell blade modules as well. They're not as good as these were, but I'll show you where you can get gold in those. See, the thing with these is I can resell them. I can ship this. Something like this, I'm going to put in a box and send off to sellyourboards.com. It's too heavy. And for the home gamer, there's not enough on here to warrant the shipping cost. Chip. Another one over here. My thumb is holding down something. Some gold here, some gold here. This is a board out of that. I got the rest of that cheese grater apple apart. So this I'm going to sell to one of my commercial board buyers. There's just nothing on it for the home gamer. And this particular computer, I wouldn't try reselling this board. I could smell it. I could smell the burn when I open the board. So that one's going to get scrapped without any compulsion. But these are shippable. You know, the phone boards were shippable. Shippable. Try to say that 3 times fast. Hi, Thomas Dreyer. Good morning to you. If you're looking for information on pricing for precious metals, I would refer you to the iScrap app. Tom does a good job with the current market. He goes on almost every day with what his yard is paying, market prices, and what the market is doing. Gold is just going absolutely berserk. that's how I stumbled my way into vintage computers, was searching for older computers that I could scrap for gold recovery, not for myself but to resell. That was how I got into this whole thing. That started it. All right, can you see that? All right. So this is also going to Kevin D. And I'm going to repost this, and I'm going to call it Kevin's Box. And if Kevin likes his box, I'll send Kevin an invoice, and I'll ship Kevin's box tomorrow morning. I think that's a great way to do business. I like it. Then I can't screw up. Yeah, so he does. Look, this CPU is beautiful. I couldn't believe they only gave me pinless CPU price on that. But the board itself, yeah, that's got a lot of gold recovery in it. The thing is I asked my buyers to send me feedback so that I'm sure what I've sent is worth the value. If I were to find it's not, I would send them additional materials. It also helps me to know, well, geez, that was a lousy thing to scrap. That didn't work really well. So, yeah, the feedback from you guys is good. And I know just enough about these boards to put together good gold-bearing packages. Hard to find things that you can ship. The old vintage computer motherboards, fantastic for gold recovery. I was saying that before, and I got Kevin's box was $99.99. 4 telecom boards and the bonus. I will try really hard. If you're interested in particular materials, you can always message me. I will set up a TikTok shop. It's just everything takes time, and I want to enjoy the holidays this year. You know, I'll get done what I can. I'm not going to drive myself frantic. I will always post, on my profile page, things that I have for sale. Everybody wants RAM. I'm sorry, I really don't have any Mark W. I know you're waiting on the 2-pound order, and I'll bill him when I get it. These are great for gold recovery too. I've got a couple of pounds of those down in the basement. So yeah, I'll just try to, I'll try to keep going with it. Kevin found his box. He saw my live, and then he wrote to me to ask me if I still have them. Poor Kevin, every time he's trying to buy something from me, it's been already sold. He wrote to see if I had it available. I had sold the box that I listed, but I had enough of these to put together another box for him. That is my verification. It has now been 1 hour. See him? It has now been 1 hour. I'm going to verify, and then I'm going to wish you guys the most awesome day God could give you. Okay. Yeah, but the other reason I want to go off after the hour is because I want to be able to reload the live, because we're all in different time zones. I'm in Connecticut, so I'm 3 hours ahead of everybody else in the country. Poor Kevin probably hasn't even gotten out of bed yet where he lives. So yeah, I'm going to repost this. I'll be popping on and off with what's in the box videos as I process through things. Like I said, I'll be around. You'll see me. I'm going to try to keep my Sunday morning early live. It's getting really hard to get an audience with live, only because so many of us are using TikTok at the same time. It is what it is, but again, I'll repost it as a video, so it doesn't really bother me. I've enjoyed very much conversing with all of you this morning. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your kind words. And thank you mostly for your time, for spending an hour with me this morning. I appreciate that. That's a huge gift, an hour of your life. I wish you all well. I hope the video was educational. And, just keep watching my profile page. If I get new stuff up, I'll let you know. If you're interested in me putting a box just for you, send me a message. Let me know what you're interested in, and I shall attempt to do so. And I'll put it on video, and if you like it, you can buy it. If you don't, it's okay. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. It really helps. Love you. God in heaven bless each one of you. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Thanks again for spending the time with me. See you next week. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Thanks again for spending the time with me. See you next week.